Once upon a time, there were two young twins, Sam and Dean, who were fraternal twins in the fictional country called Phrygia. And one day, they were both playing on their street when they noticed a huge refrigerator on the curb of one of their neighbors. So being curious, they wanted to look inside to see what was in this wondrous box. So they opened it, looked inside, and by accident got trapped in the fridge. Well, they were yelling, they were screaming, trying to get out, but nobody could hear them. Their voices were muffled by this very airtight fridge. And after a little while, they had difficulty breathing. Fortunately, the person who was going to pick up this fridge did come in the nick of time, saw that the fridge was moving a little bit, and opened it up. So the twins were saved. Now, that's not the end of the story. Sam, after that incident, was scared of refrigerators for a few days. But after that, she was fine. Her subconscious mind did not generalize the fear into more than just that one incident. Dean, on the other hand, he ended up more scarred by the whole experience. And as he grew older, his fear generalized to other things that had nothing to do with refrigerators. So what ended up happening with Dean was that he became claustrophobic. So, he would not enter a walk-in closet, for example, if the doors were closed upon him. He could enter a walk-in closet if the doors were open, but he would never enter and then close it afterwards. Being in tight, confined spaces, other than closets, also did not suit him. Being on an airplane did not suit him. Being in an elevator did not suit him. All these things made him very fearful. So what happened? Why did one of the twins get away with very little trauma and the other was traumatized for life? Answer? There's no simple answer. All I can say is that Sam's brain did not generalize the incident to include all these other things, whereas Dean's brain did generalize to walk-in closets, regular closets, elevators, airplanes, anything that kind of felt like he was trapped or couldn't get out or had no control. So the airplane was kind of a logical thing for him. Now, I'm not saying that everybody who was trapped in a refrigerator would end up like Dean, and I'm not saying that everybody trapped in a refrigerator would end up like Sam. Some people end up somewhere in between. Some people end up more on Sam's side, some on Dean's side. Every brain is different. But one thing that is common to all of our brains is the ability to generalize. So, if you see a chair, you know it's a chair. If there's a chair over there that's got 4 legs and there's a chair over there that's got 4 legs, you would recognize them both in the general category of chair. We kind of need this ability to generalize. Otherwise, every experience is kind of new. But if we have something to build on, we know that a chair is generally a 4-legged seat with a back on it, generally. Then we can categorize things as chairs. Well, for Dean, his brain, unfortunately, was so good at generalizing that it generalized so many unrelated things and related it to the fear that he felt in that refrigerator. So, what could Dean do? He could, if he knew how, stop the generalization so that his brain understood that what happened to him as a kid has no bearing on airplanes, elevators, walk-in closets, etc. And there are many methods of how to get there. I won't get into the technicals of that right here. But the point is, we can generalize in positive ways and negative ways. So chair, it's a good thing to generalize what a chair is so we can recognize a chair anytime we see a chair. Fear, not a great thing to generalize in the instance of the refrigerator. Part of the strategy to help someone like Dean would be to generalize something positive that will override the negative. So one way is to kind of release some of the emotion related to the fear and then start replacing it with something positive, and generalize that, and generalize that, and generalize that over and over again until it generalizes so much that he can feel fine on an airplane, fine in an elevator, fine in a confined space such as a walk-in closet. And then after that, if he passed the refrigerator on the street, instead of feeling fearful, he might have a different reaction. He might think to himself, "Oh, I'm glad that they put a rope around it and tied it up. That'll protect the kids." Or he might say, "Well, there's a fridge." And he might have even, not even connected that with his childhood, depending on the strength of the change that happened. But even if he does remember his childhood and see the refrigerator, it doesn't have to be such a negative experience. It could be more neutral. An acknowledgement that, "Oh yeah, remember what happened when I was a kid. That was tough." Rather than a, "Oh my gosh, that reaction. So, bottom line, we can use generalization to make a negative even more negative, or we can use generalization to make a positive even more positive.